we are going to do one of my favorite exercises that mobilizes the forefoot. So get in a position where you have access to your feet, and you are just going to simply interlace your fingers between your toes and hold. This might be really difficult. If you feel pain, you just go where you can and hold, and after about 30 seconds you'll feel some release in the tissue. So think about in dance, when you go up into a demi-point, when you go up into Relevé, what is happening? So your fingers are going to be able to flex your toes, dorsiflexion, pulling the toes up towards your ankle, and then extend the toes. So cycle through this movement: flexion, or dorsiflexion, and plantar flexion. But in the dance world, we just say flex and point. So flexing and pointing at the MTP joint, so where the phalanges, where your actual toes meet your metatarsals, your long toe bones. This is where this action is happening. In order to have a higher demi-point, or to be stable in your demi-point, we need to have mobility in this joint. A lot of the times, since this is the front third of the foot, the forefoot, if we're wearing shoes all day, which I'm sure most of us are wearing shoes all day, the shoe usually is rigid and doesn't allow movement in the forefoot. So we can address that by working on some mobility, or we can wear shoes less. So next thing we're going to do, bring your opposite hand lower on your foot to stabilize the lower third of the foot, and then we are just going to pronate and supinate the forefoot. So I'm basically twisting, I'm holding and stabilizing my towards my ankle, and I'm twisting right and left. So pronation and supination. This action is happening at the transverse tarsal joint. So just another joint in the foot that allows for twisting. So your foot, if it's on uneven surfaces, if you're barefoot, right, if you're walking along like a rocky surface or something like that, and there's a rock, your foot is going to twist and adjust to it, just kind of like how a ship is able to be buoyant and able to adapt to the waves underneath it. We want our feet to be as adaptable as that. So this twisting happens, stabilizing, just twisting right and left. The stabilizing happens in the part of the foot that is being held in one of my favorite terms is sensory deprivation chambers, or your shoes. Good. So as you go through this, then we can just kind of move the foot in a circle. So really what you're doing here is, doesn't have to be super specific. You can just kind of go where you're feeling needs attention or needs some pliability. We want the feet to be pliable and able to adapt to our surroundings. And so just playing with the movement in the foot. You can use the other hand to stabilize. You can move the whole ankle, but the point of what I'm talking about is trying to get movement up at the top third or top half of the foot. Good. And then I like to just have a little bit, I like to just squeeze my fingers, just feel some resistance as I slowly take my fingers out. You can look at your feet. After doing that, you might feel like your toes are a bit more spread out on the side that you did, and even stand up and feel the weight difference between your feet, if there's any. So that is a super simple, super doable foot mobilization exercise that I hope you try at home.